What is employee engagement? What does it look like? And why does it matter to the success of our company? In this video, we're going to move beyond the buzzword of employee engagement to understand what we can do to begin to shift it. In this video, we're going to talk about the definition of engagement. Where did the concept or idea come from? Why is it so important to companies? We're going to understand the difference between employee engagement and employee experience, where many people focus their time and energy in the wrong place. And we're going to talk about whose responsibility is employee engagement within our organizations and what we can do to begin to shift it. Hi, I'm Chris Littlefield, and I've spent 15 plus years helping leaders at top companies around the world to have the conversations that matter most to their people. Now, one of those conversations is helping leaders unpack some of these buzzwords that we hear, like psychological safety and engagement, and move them away from just buzzwords that people throw around and don't really understand into what are the actual actions that we can take to begin to move the needle on things like this. The term employee engagement started coming around in the 90s. I think it was a guy named William who was the first person to kind of coin the term engagement. And it was largely probably because people had been using the term employee satisfaction. And then they realized, wait a second, an employee can be extremely satisfied in their job doing absolutely nothing. And so they added the term engagement because it wasn't just about how the person felt about their job, it was also their commitment to doing it. They were enthusiastic, that they were committed, they were really committed to doing great work for the company. And then companies like Gallup started studying employee engagement and looking at what were those core things that had the biggest difference. Gallup defines engaged employees as one who's involved in, enthusiastic about, and committed to doing great work. And of course, as organizations, when we have more employees that are committed to doing great work, then our results tend to improve. Now, why are companies so committed to having more engaged employees? Well, if you've ever walked in an organization and you had an employee who was just staring at their phone and could care less whether you were there, well, you know how it impacts business. But they've been studying this for years at Gallup and many other organizations and found that when companies have more employees that are fully engaged at work, who are committed and involved and enthusiastic about their job, well, of course their results go up. Their absenteeism goes down. People tend to stick around because if you're at an organization that's doing great work and people are excited and they're moving fast and they're producing results, well, you tend to want to be on the winning team. And when the companies are doing well, it means they're growing, there's more opportunities for growth in those companies, and they tend to move up. Now, another thing that's important to note is that many organizations get hyper-focused on wanting to improve their customer experience. So another reason why companies focus so much on engagement is that they get that you can't improve the customer or the patient experience until you first improve the employee experience. Why? Who provides that experience, right? We could say that our website and people come in and there's a chat bot that does all that. But if you think about it, when you call in, the reason why I'm such a huge fan of Capital One, and by the way, I'm not sponsored by Capital One for this, every time I call in, someone greets me. They can answer my questions. They resolve my problems quickly. And it's their people who provide that extraordinary experience. And that's why I keep on going back to them, right? So remember that we can't improve that customer experience, that patient experience, until we first improve that employee experience. Now, whose job is employee engagement? Well, if you look at any engagement survey, it's going to measure some basic things, which is going to be basically the employee's experience at work at the given time when they take the survey. This will be, do I feel valued by my manager? Do I have opportunities to learn and grow? Do I feel I have opportunities to develop? Do people appreciate my work? Does my opinion matter? In the last year, do I feel like I have opportunities to learn and grow? Which are many of the questions that are included on Gallup's Q12 survey. Now, if you look at all of those things, and this is just a tip in general, anytime you see a statistic, what you want to do is you want to look at the questions that they were asking, and that's going to help you identify the behaviors that actually make the biggest difference. Well, in order to know that somebody has the materials to do their job right, well, we got to ask people, do you have the materials to do your job right? If our people are having to do 10 extra steps because they don't have the machinery, they don't have the equipment, they don't have the knowledge to do the job right, well, guess what? We're not delivering on that. If people feel like they're working 50 hours, but they're getting paid for 10 in the equivalent, then it's not going to feel like it's worth their time. If they don't feel like they're growing and developing, well, guess what? They're not going to stick around. And the reason why I share all that is whose job is employee engagement? Well, it's the manager's job. It's the manager's job to understand what each one of their people want and need to feel at their best, and then to be that liaison between the employee and the company to help make sure they're having the kind of experience that has them want to stick around. And that leads me to my next point, the difference between employee engagement and employee experience. Now, one of the mistakes many people make is they think engagement is a result we produce, where engagement is actually a status that's going up and down based on people's experience. And I don't know about you, there's some days where I am 100% and other days where I'm at like 2%. And that's gonna go up and down based on what's going on for me at work, my workload, the people I'm working with, and what's going on outside of work for me as well. Now, what has that go up and down, and we can't account for the factors in people's personal life, but what we do have control over is the employee experience. And the employee experience is the thing that lifts that up. Now, what is the employee experience? Well, it's all those touch points we have with people that start long before their first day of work and goes long after they retire. It's those little moments from their interview process to their onboarding process, to their first day on the job, to their first month on the job, to the training and development opportunities, how we celebrate them, how we appreciate them. The little touch points throughout the year, from Employee Appreciation Day to time with the CEO to learning opportunities to all the things that we do to make sure they're having a great experience. Clean facilities, clean bathrooms. I know that sounds silly, but if you've ever walked into a place and it's disgusting, well, are people having a great experience? No, so our environment matters. And if you walk into an environment like Bright Horizons, which is the childcare provider, I've done several projects with them in the past, you walk into their lobby, what do you see? All their best place to work awards and all the successes they have, stories featuring their employees. That all contributes to that overall intentional employee experience. And that intentional employee experience lifts that up. So when it comes to creating that employee experience, it's important for our senior leaders to understand their role. And many times there's one charismatic leader at the top who's holding the whole culture, and we need to train all those senior leaders to take ownership of their role in building and maintaining that culture and giving them simple ways to be able to do that. And if you're looking for support on that, reach out to me at beyondthankyou.com. And then the next part is helping managers understand what they have access to them when it comes to ensuring their employees have a great experience. Now, those fundamental things are the conversations we have each day, from one-on-ones, giving feedback, regularly recognizing people, checking in on career development, and just making sure that that person has clear expectations on what they're supposed to do. And if you're in HR, you can support them by giving them the tool, resources, and training to be able to help them be able to do that more effectively. Then we also want to let all of our employees know that they also play a role in keeping that culture alive. So that it's not just the senior managers and the managers who do that, but every person's actions, the little things and the conversations we have each day, all contribute to the environment we have, and together we build that extraordinary culture that people want to stick around in. So if you want to improve employee engagement in your organization, first start at the top. Help those senior leaders understand the role that they play. And it's not just that one charismatic leader's job, but it's all of their jobs to take ownership of the culture that we have. And it's the small actions they take each day, whether it's walking around and checking in with employees, whether it's taking time to have lunches with people to understand and celebrate their great work, and then showing them how they are the role model for everybody else in the organization of how to act and behave and to model our core values and core behaviors that are most important to our results. Then we want to focus on training our managers. We want to help our managers understand that it's the little things that they do every day that make the biggest difference, whether it's check-ins, whether it's giving feedback, whether it's doing those performance reviews on time. And if you're in HR, I know that I'm speaking your language here, but getting them to actually have those conversations. I don't want to just do it just to check the box. No, that employee is dying for that feedback from their manager, and when they give it, and they give it well, then it makes everybody's life better. And then lastly, we want to make sure that all of our employees, that we all have an important role in building and maintaining our cultures. In every little interaction, from how we greet our coworkers, to how do we talk to one another, to how we support one another, builds that kind of environment and that employee experience that raises that level of engagement, that has us all win together, produce extraordinary results, and work for a company that we're proud to call our own. I'm Chris Littlefield. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, check out some of the other ones on the channel. And if you're looking for more tips and resources, make sure you go to beyondthankyou.com and check out some of my training programs. I have training programs for your senior leaders, for your managers, and for your individual contributors, or we can put it all together to help you design a culture that your people love being a part of.